So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bet. Everything on the line. You know, that's old school right there. That's everything on the line.
Y'all getting the last little bit of Gervonta that y'all gonna see. I'm gonna make sure I do what I'm supposed to so I can be the best I can. Me and the stuff that I've been through in my past and the trouble and things like that, and don't want to keep saying, but my mom and dad was on drugs and things like that. I fought mad times in the streets and the gym. Just to see that I'm at this level and see that it's possible. You know what I mean? Everything I dreamed of is actually coming true. All this is paying off. That's another reason why I have to win this fight. People close to me, people that's coming up behind me. I feel as though Manny wants to show them that anything is possible. You know what I mean? No matter where you come from.
You can always tell the difference between a fighter training to maintain fame and one training to reclaim something deeper. This feels like the second version. Gervonta Davis looks sharper, lighter on his feet, but heavier in purpose. The energy around him isn't flashy, it's focused. It's serious.
At this moment, the time a newly released boxing coach and a kid from the streets spent together gains extra meaning. Both sought to redefine their story. The first steps taken toward today.
They might got me back in the kitchen again.
You know, Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody know him. Everybody know him at work.
Remember, Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You gotta be, all the way in it, focus on the goal, you know, and them guys, they went left, and unfortunately, they got killed.
That's usually when things get dangerous. After chaos outside the ring, some fighters fall apart, but others simplify everything. Early morning road work, into the rounds, drills pushed past exhaustion, then one more round. Right now, Tank looks like he's leaning fully into that version of himself.
You weigh the odds up like that. Do you want him to go to jail or you want him to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing gym.
If I ain't had the people I had around me, the people that started with me and things like that, I probably would have been off the scene for a long time. You know, I think that the people that I started with really keep me sane and keep me focused, because it's not just me that's fighting this battle, it's people that's with me, you know what I mean, that's walking with me day in and day out. What up, man?
We're gonna give you a piece.
Peace?
Just a piece, yeah?
All right, bet.
Just cut a piece. Do the rest of your main man.
Is, man.
Yeah, just a little piece.
I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
Yo, we cleaned the plates with them, Jordan.
Okay.
It's banging, right?
Yeah, it don't taste too bad, man. Not bad.
They don't taste too bad, man.
You gonna eat the whole thing, right?
You know what I'm saying?
But Davis isn't just any fighter. He's a dominant force, still building his empire. There's no room for rest. No breaks. No excuses.
That lawnmower, that's it. Yeah.
I don't want to lose. I hate losing. I know Tank hate losing. Lamont damn sure don't want to lose, so it's gonna make for a good fight, man.
The stage is massive. Bright lights. Million watching. For Tank, that's nothing new, but this time it feels different. He's preparing for a level of challenge he hasn't faced before.
Performance of your life. Whole world will be watching this like.
Oh, yeah.
Big stage, record audience, millions watching. For Tank, this is nothing new. But it's not exactly the same either. because he's never had such a treacherous opponent to prepare for.
Yeah, definitely jet lag, man. Felt my legs was a little tired. Everything was tired, you know. And even when you don't want to work, you gotta work. You know what I mean? So definitely Sam Ron today definitely gave me juice to get in there. Cause maybe or maybe he not, but 9 out of 10, he ain't go to the gym today. So I'm definitely ahead of him. So I pushed through it.
Because across from him, the name being discussed is Shakur Stevenson at 140 pounds. That's not a fight you can cruise through. Shakur demands perfection. He punishes impatience, exposes mistakes, and turns small errors into long, painful rounds. If Tank wants that challenge, raw power won't be enough. He'll need conditioning, discipline, timing, and most importantly, mental control when things get complicated.
See some speed. He's like, yo, where the coming from? They coming from different angles I ain't never seen.
Some fighters they good at what they do. Like they master at what they do, but they not complete fighters.
That's where Calvin Ford becomes crucial. He understands how to guide Tank beyond just physical skills, how to calm the chaos without removing the danger. And if that balance is real, the entire division should be paying attention. Because there's a difference between an active Tank and a focused Tank. One shows up, the other arrives with purpose. We've already seen what his explosiveness can do even when he's distracted. Now, imagine that same power sharpened by discipline and driven by something personal. That's when a puncher becomes complete. While the footage shows Tank rebuilding physically, Timothy Bradley broke down his mindset, and his words hit hard. He called Tank nocturnal. It sounds strange, but it fits. Some fighters start fast and fade. Tank does the opposite. He studies. He waits. He lets opponents feel comfortable. Then suddenly, he flips the switch, and everything changes. Bradley explained it perfectly. Tank gives up control early just to take full control later. Casual fans mistake that patience for passivity, but it's actually strategy at the highest level.
He has the eye for that. He knows when the fighter's weakening. He knows when the fighter is starting to tire. He can, he'll listen to their breathing. He can see certain signs to when he has to turn it up, and that's when it turns him up. That's when he steps on the gas pedal. Tank is a scary ass fighter because he can turn it up at any moment. Not many fighters can do that. Not turn it up at any moment.
Not many fighters can operate like that. Tank isn't inactive. He's collecting data, watching your habits, reading your breathing, noticing when your guard drops or your rhythm slips. And then he punishes every mistake. That's why his knockouts feel sudden. One moment the fight feels calm, the next it's over. Bradley also highlighted how dangerous Tank is at mid-range, the most uncomfortable distance in boxing. Close enough to hurt you, far enough to avoid being smothered. That's his territory.
One of the greatest rounds of the fight. He has explosive combinations. They're quick, they're fast, they're accurate. He can be first. He likes to be second. He likes to be a counterpuncher. He likes his guys to open up. Again, I told you, he likes guys that make mistakes because he likes to fill those openings with his power shot.
But Bradley didn't just praise him. He pointed out weaknesses too. Fighters like Isaac Cruz force Tank into tougher situations. When power isn't immediately respected, the fight becomes more complex. And honestly, that might make Tank even more dangerous, because now you're dealing with a puncher who can think and adapt. Bradley also mentioned the jab. If Tank refines it, that's a scary upgrade. Now imagine that version against Stevenson. One fighter gathers information, the other hides it. That's not just a fight, that's chess with consequences.
Tank is scary, man. He's scary. Where is Tank? I feel Tank can be exposed when a guy is resolute. When he can't hurt you, it does something to him psychologically. Now, it won't stop him from trying to knock you out, but I can tell it does something to him psychologically when he hits you and you don't go anywhere. Tank is probably one of the most complete fighters in the game. He has just about everything.
While Bradley focused on in-ring danger, Greg Hackett looked at the bigger picture, Tank's impact on the entire sport.
I'm just happy Tank coming back. Tank's exciting. All the guys are exciting, but Tank is always a big question mark when Tank get in the ring. Is somebody about to get knocked out? You know what I mean? I just hope it's a good guy. But I can say I'm happy to see Tank putting a foot forward, at least get back in the ring. You know what I mean?
Hackett made it clear. Fighters sell tickets, but Tank creates events. When his name is on a card, attention follows. But inactivity changes everything. Time off can sharpen hunger or create rust. Sometimes both appear in the same fight. That's what makes this return so unpredictable. If Tank comes back focused, the division has a serious problem. If he comes back relaxed, someone bold might try to take advantage.
It has an effect where even, I think he catapulted that kid, Scooter Davis's career, just from being in camp with him. He was in camp and did a couple videos with him. And next thing you know, everybody paying attention to him fight. I think he fought on the Matchroom card, stopped somebody, and then next thing you know, he signed the top rank.
Taking it even further, Fane suggested this potential Davis versus Stevenson fight could reveal who truly matters in boxing, even before the bell rings. Because like it or not, Tank moves the market. His name alone drives attention. Meanwhile, Stevenson sits in that dangerous position, respected by hardcore fans, but still needing that one defining moment. Beating Tank wouldn't just win him a fight, it would change his entire career.
Talking about the fight for about a week and how great he is, and after that, it went right back into nobody talking about Shakur. Because Shakur Stevenson he's just not a big star. But he can be a big star if he fights somebody like Gervonta Davis. That's the ticket for him right there. Is the fight between him and the guy that's the most popular guy in that weight class, or anybody below Canelo Alvarez.
But let's be clear, Tank is no stepping stone. He's the kind of fighter who can lose rounds and still end everything in seconds. That changes how opponents think, negotiate, and prepare. The fight itself sells. Precision versus power, control versus chaos, patience versus explosion. The only real question is whether boxing politics will delay it like so many other mega fights.
They want their fighters to be the ones that are generating the big money. They want their fighters to be the ones with the big crowds and all of that stuff. And they try to pour water on their competition. And they've been pouring their water on the competition for the PBC for like 10 years. So I'm really looking for this to come to a close. I'm looking for Gervonta Davis to start getting big fights. I'm looking for the PBC to start be able to sign fighters again, and as their reputation for being able to put on fights continue to grow.
Put everything together, and this feels bigger than just another rumor. It feels like a moment waiting to happen. Davis rebuilding himself, Bradley breaking down his mindset, Hackett reminding everyone of his impact, and Stevenson standing as the perfect opposite. Discipline versus explosiveness. This isn't just about skill anymore. It's about who's willing to take the risk when everything is on the line. Because if both fighters are truly ready, there's no better time than now.
From very, very disreputable sources, okay? And that money's not gonna come anymore. You guys are gonna have to start making money, actually making money in fights, actually selling tickets, not just having some crook buy a bunch of tickets off and allowing you to resell them at 100% profit. Like, we don't know what you guys get into and what you guys are.
Stay tuned for the latest boxing news, highlights, and updates. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next.